We've all been there. You're in your fantasy basketball draft, you're eyeing the player that you know you want to have on your roster. A couple picks go by, another pick, and you're like one pick away from bringing the player to your team that you've been planning on, waiting on. And then it happens. You get sniped. In this episode, we're going to tell you about ways that you can prevent getting sniped in real life as we conduct a 12-team points league mock draft. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. We're having our second mock draft of the season. I am ultra hype. I want to give a big shout out to our entire community because they are pulling up and we are drafting against humans. No AI, no Open AI, no Claude, no Gemini, no Sora, no robots. Just good old-fashioned humans from all over the world. We got people from Tanzania, Jerusalem, Australia, the UK, Canada, Mexico. Come on now. The Philippines. Yo, we got the most international community on the planet, and I'm so grateful for you guys. So, I know that folks are locked in on fantasy football drafts right now, mock drafts specifically, getting ready for that. But as you know, if you know anything about winning at life, you got to put in the time. So in the offseason, NBA players are in the gym working on their game. So what do we do in the offseason as fantasy basketball players? As soon as ESPN makes their mock drafts available with the updated rookies, we are in the gym working. Top is off, boobies is out, hair blowing in the freaking wind. Convertible status. I'm not playing. And you're here because you ain't playing neither. So let's get this money. At the same time, speaking of money, I want to talk about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. BetOnline. The game starts here. So I have this whole idea around what we can do this season to better equip you for your mock drafts. And one of the things we really want to lean into is doing more mock drafts, but also maybe create some videos that will give you tips on what strategies to use, what kind of inside scoop you can have to get a leg up on your competition. So just let me know in the comments. If those are videos that you would be interested in seeing, please let me know by commenting the words more draft. So if you want more draft content, more draft tips for fantasy basketball, just drop it in the comments, more draft, and I'll gladly cook that up for you. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to some of the folks who are pulling up to the draft right now. It starts in about 5 minutes, but before we do that, I gotta give some shots out because when the draft starts, y'all, I'm not gonna be giving nobody no shout outs. I'm here trying to not get sniped. If you pulling up in the live stream, please let us know in the comments. Give us a shout out from where you're from, or let us know where you're based, and we'll shout out your town. So I grabbed the first pick for this draft just because I picked 7 in the last draft. I don't know. I just picked the number 7. It's one of my favorite numbers. I did what I did. But I think to keep myself on track, I'm going to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down until I get to 7. Skip 7, go to 8, 9, and finish to 12. And then if we get all of our points leagues, 12 team drafts complete and done, I think I want to go to 10-team points leagues. If you guys are in 10-team points leagues, just comment the words 10 or the letters or the numbers 10 so I can know that. And then after we finish these 12-team mock drafts, we'll get right in to your 10-team mock draft. So let's get to the shout-outs before we start. Big shout-out to CK, who's at the second pick. Big shout-out to Matthew and his magnificent team at number 3. Then we got Joey's scary team at number 4. We still have a vacant slot at 5. I hope that gets filled up before we start. Our last mock draft last week, we had the entire place was sold out. We had a sellout crowd of 12 fantasy basketball sickos. I'm rocking a fantasy basketball sicko shirt. If you guys are interested in checking those out, you can, if you're on YouTube, you can probably see them below, but you can also visit bit.ly/The Fantasy Sports Shop, and you could grab your Fantasy Sicko t-shirt or hoodie. Number 5 is Grace. Grace's great team. What up, Grace? 6 is Straw. 7 is vacant. We got another vacant team. We got to get it together, guys. Come on now. And then I got my man Bihamik's brilliant team at 8. 9 is vacant. 10 is vacant. We just had Dylan slide in at 7, so we don't have a vacant slot there. Thank goodness. Then we have vacant slots at 9 and 10. Then we have Tyrese at the 11, and then we have a vacant slot at 12. We got Daniel, who just pulled up and took the 9th spot, so we only have 3 vacant slots. We're hoping that we can fill those before we start in the next 2 minutes. Just to give you some insight on what I'm thinking about for these draft tip videos, I think I want to kind of talk to the fantasy basketball community. So as you know, I spent some time working with NBC Sports Roto World, or if you don't know, right? And I also used to be a dynasty ranker for #basketball. So I communicate with those guys a lot, people in the fantasy basketball community. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. Maybe reaching out to one of the group chats and being like, hey guys, what are your top 5 tips for drafts? And maybe I could bring those back, include them with mine, and create maybe a series. So instead of doing like one video, I can get takes from a bunch of different analysts and then report out, and maybe we could have a little mini series. So if that's something you folks are interested in, let me know. Big shout out to Tyrese. He says maybe try 14. Oh, Tyrese says try a 14-team league. That's good. We can do a poll on that, Tyrese, because last year we had a bunch of people asking for 10-team leagues. So I'm open to it. So if you guys are in a 10-team league, comment the number 10. If you are in a 14-team league, comment the number 14. And if we have more 10 or more 14, we'll consider doing both or picking one. Matt Carmody, my main man. What up from Ireland? Yo, that is the realest thing I ever heard. Come on, man. Come on. I don't give a shit, Sue puppy. If I got my people checking in from Ireland, you know we got to go hard, laddie. Come on, laddie. Pass the Guinness. Meet me at the pub for the pint, laddie. Come on. Highlight Factory. Come on, Highlight Factory. You already know. We in here early cooking. That's how we get chips. We be in the gym where everybody else is sleeping. Where we at, huh? We in the gym. So big shout out to the Highlight Factory. Highlight Factory, let me know if you think I should take Wemby first, because I'm thinking about taking Wemby first to shake it up. If not, I'm just going to take the Joker. I got the first pick, and we are a few seconds away from kicking off our second mock draft of the season 2024-2025. This is the Believe in Fantasy Basketball podcast. I am your men's in them, Robin Marks. Let's get it. Now let's see how the screen looks, because last week the screen was looking crazy. You see I got the split screen this week. The screen was looking crazy. That's better. That's better. I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to pull it maybe like so we can get just this. That looks nice. Nice. See, I got, for people who are listening, I just slid the screen over and kind of centered the text here, so it looks really clean. Last week I was all over the place, y'all. I didn't know what was happening with the size of my videos. I use Ecamm, so you know I'm still learning, and I was all over the place. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to shrink it. whatever. But, this week I did a little bit of homework. I will also say that our Twitter feed for Ecamm is not working. I reached out to customer service and let them know, but like, yo, we got to get back on Twitter like live. Come on, man. We don't play all of that. So Highlight Factory says take Wemby first. I'm gonna take Wemby first then. Forget it. Because listen, in my entire career of playing fantasy basketball, covering fantasy basketball, I have never been able to draft the Joker. I've never got the first pick in a draft, in a real life draft. Never. I've never. So with that said, I have the first pick. Let me pull up the players thing here. So there, ESPN has Jokic rated 1, Wemby at 2, and Luka at 3. I am taking Victor Wembanyama with the first pick. Let's get it. Yes. You cannot be mad at that. Come on, man. I am standing on business. That's what I'm saying. So we got CK up with the second pick, and he gets Luka Doncic, which is not surprising at all. Then with the third pick, Matthew's magnificent team gets Nikola Jokic, which is a crazy steal to grab Jokic at 3. That's what happens in fantasy basketball. If you play fantasy basketball long enough, you see these things change, and this is one of those changes. So I imagine that Giannis goes fourth. For me, this happened last draft. I still would probably go SGA there. But SGA is off the board at 5. So we got Wemby at the 1-1, Luka at the 1-2, Nikola Jokic at the 1-3, Giannis at the 1-4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the 1-5, Sabonis at the 1-6. That's crazy. But he's that good. Like, you can't even be mad at it. He's literally the most double in this guy. He's like playing double dutch out here. Come on, man. He's in the street with the telephone wires jumping. 20 and 10 every game. Then at the 1-7 after Sabonis, we had Jason Tatum. And then Embiid just keeps going later and later. Now he's going with the 8th pick is Joel Embiid. And then Tyrese Halliburton at the 1-9. At the 1-10, we have Anthony Edwards. That goes to Ryan's rowdy team. It looks like we actually filled out. I don't think we have any computers here. This is really good, really good. Matt Carmody says, don't think I would get Jokic at 3. Yeah, listen, Matt, I almost took him in this draft, but like the Highlight Factory pulled up and gave me some input in the chat, in the live chat. So, I'm for the people, man. Come on, you know that. So after Tyrese Halliburton at the 1-9, we have Ant-Man at the 1-10, Trae Young at the 1-11. I don't know if I would take Trae that early. Take Trae that early. Anthony Edwards at the 1-12. I think that is a steal. Top of the second round, we got Scotty Biggity Barnes. Let me know, would you guys rather see this screen, or would you rather I show you what's happening here with these guys? Let me know which one looks better to you guys. Would you like that, or are you cool with this? For my folks who are listening at home, I'm sliding the screen to show either the list of players that are available or the list of players that are being drafted. I would say that in my next pick, I got a back-to-back pick, so I'm going to have to really lock in and make sure that I don't get sniped. Because I'm here public, I'm not going to queue anybody. I'm going to go freestyle off the dome. That's one of my number one tips for drafts. Make sure you are fully optimizing your queue. If you have time to prevent getting sniped, if you have time, make sure you have your queue set up like your rankings, right? So if you have rankings, if you don't have rankings, you can get some from me. Just shoot me a DM or connect with me in the Discord at BelieveInFantasy.com, and I'll share with you some rankings when I finish them. I have my dynasty rankings done, but my season-long rankings, I'll have those really soon. And then you can kind of just go through it and cue those people up in that order so that the lights go out, whatever happens, you can have your players. So let me do a quick recap, and then I'm going to get ready for my pick. So after Scotty Barnes at the 2-1, we had Ja Morant at the 2-2, Devin Booker at the 2-3, Alperen Şengün at the 2-4, LeBron James at the 2-5, Kevin Durant at the 2-6, Steph Curry at the 2-7. So I am eyeing a couple of players here. Not going to say their names out loud, but I will say that there's a good chance that I can get one or two of them. I've already secured Victor Wembanyama, which I feel really good about. The player that I'm interested in is very high on the board. Let me know if you can guess who it is. The players that I'm looking at the top of the board: Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, Paolo Banchero, De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan. Which one or two of those players do you think I'm interested in? Which one or two? Let me know in the comments. You can say, so we can have reference, you can say second round, you should have taken blank. So Donovan Mitchell is off the board. That is definitely one of the guys I was looking at. The ones that are left from that cluster of players that I shared: DeJounte, Paolo Banchero, De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan. Lillard is off the board. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. We are cooking with hot bacon grease. Whew. Man, listen, they better not let me get these two guys I'm trying to get. I am just saying. Oh, I'm getting both of them. Here we go. Y'all ready? So, my first pick is going to be another big man. Not taking DeJounte, not taking De'Aaron, not taking DeMar. I'm taking Chet Holmgren. So I got Wemby and I got Chet, but I'm not done. So I'm going to reach a little bit for this guy, but he was one of the top players in fantasy basketball last year, and I think he's going to continue to produce. I'm going to go with your man's in him, a.k.a. the Flat Earth, don't do the Amazon movie, and don't take the shot if you don't need it, Kyrie Irving. Let's get it. I'm feeling good about this. So let me get back to the recap. After Steph Curry went at the 2-7, we had Jalen Brunson at the 2-8, Donovan Mitchell at the 2-9, 2-10, we had Damian Lillard, 2-11, Paolo Banchero, and then with my back-to-back picks, I grabbed Chet Holmgren and Kyrie Crusher over Irving. Next up at the 3-2 is Tyrese Maxey. Very interesting stuff. Get a sip out of my Buc-ee's cup. You know we had to come correct, y'all. Come on now. You know how we do. You know how we do on Sundays when we do these live streams. If you are watching the replay, guys, we do these mock drafts every Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, roughly 11 p.m. Sometimes we'll start a little early, late. If you want to be up on it, join us maybe. You can even join our free Discord, and I'll share the link. Right now, just about everybody who's drafting with us is from our community. We're grateful for them, and what we are about is simply winning fantasy basketball championships. Over the last 2 years, we have about 80 championships from our community. We continue to rack up the wins. This season, we are leaning in heavily to points leagues. We've always been a points league channel, but we've supported category, roto, all of that. This year, points leagues. If you need help with your category league, we will definitely help you. But all of the content that we create this season will be for points leagues only. Sleeper, we're here for you. If you play in lock-in mode or game pick mode, we're here for you. If you're playing on ESPN, Yahoo, Fantrax points leagues, we are here for you. If you are playing underdog, best ball, we are here for you. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Okay, let me get back to the recap. So after Kyrie Irving, we had Tyrese Maxey at the 3-2, De'Aaron Fox at the 3-3, Evan Mobley at the 3-4, and Evan Mobley just got a bag, y'all. I think he got 220-something million. Whew, crazy. Bam Adebayo at the 3-5. Bam Adebayo at the 3-5. DeMar DeRozan goes to Team Straw at the 3-6. James Harden, I love that pick. That is Dylan's daring team. Yes, Dylan, yes. I think, and this is everybody, listen up close. This is a good one. With the departure of Paul George and the consistent habitual chronic injury risk that is Kawhi Leonard, something special is going to happen for James Harden fantasy-wise this year, right? He will never be the beard with the fro hawk averaging 35 a game, dishing out 12 assists, whatever it is. He won't do that, but he's going to rack up some assists. And if Kawhi Leonard is out, oh, baby, the keys to the car belong to the beard. So pay attention to that. I love that pick. Cade Cunningham with the 3-8. LaMelo Ball just keeps dropping, man. This is a first-round guy a couple of years ago. This is sad. At the 3-9, he goes. Lauri Markkanen at the 3-10, great pick. Pascal Siakam at the 3-11. DeJounte Murray at the 3-12. Desmond Bane at the 4-1. And then Paul George at the 4-2. So let's take a look. I'm up in about 6 or 7 picks. I'm going to tell you how not to get sniped. So I said you got to set your cue, right? That's the first thing you want to do. Another thing that might be, a little sneaky, right, is kind of bigging up the player that you don't want. So I get it. People don't like deception, man. In my normal day-to-day human life, I'm a really nice guy. And I would like to think so at least. And I'm not deceptive. I don't cheat. I don't do anything. But when it comes to crafting narratives around fantasy basketball, so my league mates can do the things that I want them to do, I'm okay with that. And I will always be okay with that. Right? So in this case, an example would be, I'm drafting with a bunch of my guys. I would do something like, please don't take Jalen Green. He got to come home to the crib. Hey, yo, right? Come on, Jalen Green is my guy. Don't draft Jalen Green. Please stay away from Jalen Green. Knowing in my heart, if my community is watching, which I'm sure some of them are, they might be like, man, let me take him because if Robin wants him, he's got to be good. And, even in my personal leagues, I'm the fantasy analyst in my personal league. So people look at me like, what is Robin doing? Right? Which 9 times out of 10 is still wrong because I'm human. I'll make mistakes. But I'm going to try to get somebody to take Jalen Green. So I'm going to push them. Now, if it's not Jalen Green, maybe it's somebody else like Keegan Murray. I know I don't want Keegan Murray. So I'll be like, yo, Bill, whatever you do, please don't take Keegan Murray. Guys, do me a favor. Don't take Keegan Murray. Just let me live a little bit. Now, my guys know me well enough to know that, that I'm probably full of crap on that. So they'll call bull on me. But it's something, especially when you're playing in a league that maybe you're not as, or maybe the players are not as familiar with you. You don't have that kind of rapport and you can craft your narrative. It's a great opportunity to kind of just misguide them a little bit to get them to do what you want them to do. So no one grabbed Jalen Green there, but a couple of the guys that I wanted, I was eyeing Karl Anthony Towns. He went off the board. I definitely eyeing Franz Wagner. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Franz Wagner. The second player I was looking at was either Darius Garland or Porzingis or Julius Randle here. So for me, those are kind of the 3 guys I'm looking for in a points leagues format. I think for me, I have a little more faith that Darius Garland is kind of what I'm looking for here, despite his injury risk. But I'm going to have to go Julius Randle. I think I'll go Julius Randle here. Yeah, just kind of fill it out. But that's another way. So the first tip, just to remind you guys, make sure you're setting your queue. That's an easy way not to get sniped because you can see everything, right? If you don't put people in your queue, there are some players that are buried in here that won't get drafted when they should because ESPN right now, they don't have their rankings in a good place, right? They're still working the kinks out. So you could take advantage of that if you queue up a guy, like, for example, Jalen Johnson is a great example. He's buried down there right now. He's somebody who should be going in the middle rounds. A player like that, you want to make sure that you know where he is and you're paying attention to what's happening so you don't get sniped. The second tip was create the narrative. Make sure the player that you want, the player that you want on your roster, you don't say anything about them, and the players you want people to take, you kind of make it like, hey, you're hyped about him. Like, I think he's gonna have. You don't even have to be like super sneaky. You could just be like, yo, I think Jalen Green might go off this season. What do you guys think? And in the chat, it could just probably create some conversation about it. Okay, so let me get back to the recap, guys. So after Paul George at the 4-2, we had Zion 4-3, Kawhi 4-4. Y'all don't get me on my Kawhi Leonard soapbox. I'm not trying to drink no daggone dumpster juice out here. Come on, man. I'm not going to do it. Jaylen Brown at the 4-5. Vucevic at the 4-6. Jamal Murray at the 4-7. I don't know how I feel about that one. Karl Anthony Towns, love this one. At the 4-8. Jalen Williams, 4-9. Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4-10. Yes. Josh Giddey, a.k.a. Diddy, at the 4-11. Franz Wagner goes at the 4-12. I grab Julius Randle as well at the 5-1. Nick Claxton at the 5-2. Jimmy, resting when you need him, Butler at the 5-3. Mikal Bridges, 5-4. Zach LaVine, 5-5. Rudy Gobert, 5-6. Jalen Green at the 5-7. Austin Reeves at the 5-8. Where did he do that at? Jarrett Allen at the 5-9. Brandon Ingram at the 5-10. Fred VanVleet at the 5-11. I love that pick. Man, that's good. That's a good pick. You getting Fred VanVleet at the 5'11"? Come on, man. Darius Garland at the 5'12". I'm not mad at that pick. And then C.J. McCollum at the 6'1", at the top of the 6. I will say this about C.J. C.J. is a great fantasy basketball player. But this season, he will not get better. He will regress mightily. I'm just saying, with the arrival of DeJounte Murray, expect that CJ's role will change a little bit. He's not Trae Young, right? He's the kind of player that's like, yo, your veteran leadership is just as valuable as you putting up 20 points a game. So he's gonna take a hit, y'all. I think CJ McCollum is gonna take a hit. I wouldn't draft him that early. Kristaps Porzingis, I would draft that early, but I do have the injury concerns. Listen, people are injury prone until they're not injury prone anymore. People are durable until they're not durable anymore. Great example. Anthony Davis, always been a durability issue for years. Last year had one of his best seasons in fantasy basketball history because he was durable. He played a lot of games. Karl Anthony Towns, his first few years, one of the most consistent, durable players you've seen over the last couple years, not so much. So it's always, listen, people are going to be injury prone until they're not. So for me, I would take a risk on Kristaps Porzingis in the 6th round. Like, why not? Why not? Devin Vassell at the 6'3", Derek White at the 6'4", Kyle Kuzma at the 6'5", and Michael Porter Jr. at the 6'6". I am not happy about any of those picks. I don't like any of those picks. And I think it's just because we're in this part of the draft. So I think for where we are, they're decent picks. I'm not excited about any of those guys. Maybe Derek White and Devin Vassell. I feel like I should get Devin Vassell later, though. I feel like every year we're drafting him like for what he can do, and he hasn't done it yet. And I love Devin Vassell. Like, Devin Vassell, like, my son went to Devin Vassell's basketball camp. Like, I'm a big-time Devin Vassell fan. As you see, we got the San Antonio Spurs hat. Every Sunday when we do the live streams, we're trying to include the community on what hat we're going to wear. The 2 hats we had was the OG fantasy swag hat, and then this hat, and this hat won the actual poll. But yeah, Devin Vassell, I feel like I need to see more before I draft him that early. After Michael Porter Jr. at the 6'6", we had D'Angelo at the 6'7", and I'm up. So let me get focused. So let's see. Jalen Duren is on the board, so I'm definitely grabbing him. Definitely grabbing him. But let me just take a look at my next pick. Miles Bridges is interesting to me. Keldon Johnson, not so much. Let me grab Jalen before I have a brain fart here. And then my next play, I'm not so sure about. I'm looking at Miles Bridges. Let's see if my man is around still. Jalen. Let's see if Jalen is here. Because I'll reach for Jalen. Because I didn't get him last one. Jalen. Nope. Okay, so let's not mess up. Let me not mess up. Oh, I'm about to mess up. 4, 3, 2. Miles Bridges, come on. Whew. I was looking for Jalen Johnson. Jesus Christ. That was close. That's why you got your queue set up. And for me, in this exercise, for this mock draft, I don't have my queue set up just because if I click queue, you would see me doing it. And that's just like, I'm drafting with people. I'm trying to like enjoy my experience too. I'm just saying. But let me see if Jalen Johnson is around. Did somebody get him already? Did someone draft Jalen Johnson? Come on, man. Let me see. Nah, he's there? See, I'll cue him. Like, he won't be there when I get there back around because I'm fairly confident that of the 12 people who are drafting with me, at least one of them is watching. At least one of them is watching. I'm just saying. Big shout out Wally. Wally says, what do you think about Cam Thomas with McHale being traded? I do like Cam Thomas for points leagues just because he's a bit of a black hole when it comes to usage when he's the guy. So I think it's definitely someone I'm interested in seeing what he does. But like I talked about Devin Vassell, until I see it, I don't believe it. So for me, I wouldn't really I'm kind of a safe player in the early rounds, and then I'll swing for the fences in the later rounds, as you probably see here. But yeah, I think that it's definitely something that is worth going for, but I don't know if I would grab him earlier than the 7th or 8th round. Maybe the 8th round I'd be looking at him, and I don't know if he'll be available then because others are higher on him than that. So let me see if I can cue a few people really quick because I don't want to miss there's just a couple of players that I didn't get last mock draft that I'm pretty set on getting them this time. So I'm going to go ahead and queue them up secretly. I adjusted my screen a little bit just to make sure my fellow drafters are not all up in my grits. Trying to do the daggone thing in my grits. Messing with me, man. There's a couple of guys that I'm looking at, and I'll talk more about it as we get there because I want to make sure that you guys can understand my thinking behind it so you can possibly do the same thing when you get to your actual draft. So we're here. Let's get back to our recap really quick. We have after D'Angelo Russell went at the 6'7", we had Brandon Miller at the 6'8", Ayton at the 6'9", Turner, Miles that is, at the 6'10", Kobe White at the 6'11", Jalen Duren at the 6'12". I think that's a great pick. 7, at the top of the 7th, we have Miles Bridges at the 7'1", Cam Thomas at the 7'2", Drew Holiday at the 7'3", Chris Paul at the 7'4". I think that's a little early for Paul, but I do think he's going to have a good year. 7'5", we have Hero. DiVincenzo at the 7'6". What? That's wild. I like it, though. Tobias Harris at the 7'7". Jalen Johnson. I got sniped in an episode about how you don't get sniped. Come on, man. But you see what I did? I publicly queued him, and that's what happened. I would have took him with that Miles Bridges pick if I could find him. I just couldn't find him. I would have took him there. Who is that? Bahomic. Yeah, I'm watching you, Bahomic. That's my guy. He's active in our Discord. That's a good one. I'm not mad at that. You enjoy it because this is just a mock draft. Anthony Simons with the 7'9", Kuminga 7'10", Quickly 7'11", Jonas Valanciunas 7'12", Bradley Beal at the 8'1". Yuck. Pusha T voice. That is gross. Man, that is bad. How the mighty have fallen. Okay, I'm getting ready to come up again, so let me get locked in to make sure I can see if there's anything of interest that I want to stretch my hand and attach myself to? Not much. But at this point of the draft, I am thinking upside. I'm thinking, how can I get some upside here? What will be my upside play? And the only thing that really jumps out to me is Amin Thompson. I like Keldon Johnson a little bit too. I just feel like his value continues to decrease with the arrival of Wemby. But Amin, I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed in Houston, and that's my only concern with him. But other than that, I still believe he is a viable option. So here, I think I'm going to grab one of my favorites. I'm going to grab Onyeka Okongwu. And for me, I don't do Capella. I think Capella will be out of town at some point. But Onyeka, I can say his name, and the fact that I know how to say his name is enough for me to want to draft him. I can say Onyeka Okongwu very well, and I've practiced that. So because of that, I'm going to draft him. And that is the only reason. Would I recommend drafting him for your team? Absolutely. I think if Capella goes down, which he does, or if he gets traded, which they've been saying they're going to do for 3 years, that Onyeka, once he officially gets the keys to the car, is going to be a tremendous value. But even in the time that he gets playing with Capella in tandem, he's still super valuable and definitely worth an 8th round pick. So I'm cool with that. So let's get back to the recap. After Bradley Beal, we had Chris Middleton at the 8-2, Jakob Poeltl at the 8-3, Jabari Smith Jr. at the 8-4, Jordan dropping the kids off at the pool at the 8-5. Ooh, that man was going way earlier than that. That will be a value for somebody. He's going to be better this year. He's not going to stink it up like that. Keegan Murray, man, he dropped to the 8-6. RJ Barrett, 8-7. Shaedon Sharpe, 8-8. Walker Kessler at the 8-9. OG Anunoby at the 8-10. I would have took OG Anunoby if he was available. With that 8th round pick where I grabbed Amin Thompson, I would have grabbed him. 8-11, Jeremy Grant. 8-12, Amin Thompson. Onyeka Okongwu with the 9-1. Brooke Lopez with the 9-2. Colin Sexton, 9-3. Denny Avdia, 9-4. Scoot Henderson at the 9-5. I'm not messing with Scoot Henderson. Nah. No. I need to see it before I can believe that. No way. Aaron Gordon with the 9-6. Terry Rozier with the 9-7. Klay Thompson with the 9-8. Ayo Dosunmu at the 9-9. Nurkic at the 9-10. Mark Williams at the 9-11. Draymond Green at the 9-12. So, I have 1, 2, 3 picks left. So here's the last tip, I should say, for avoiding getting sniped in these drafts, right? At the back end of your draft, this is the last 3 spots, right? I'm going to say, or actually I have 4 spots, right? So I'm going to probably pick 1 or 2 more stable guys. After that, I'm swinging for the fences. And I'm going to tell you more about it when I do it. But when you swing for the fences, that means that guys that you would normally wait on, you would just grab them a little earlier. And that's something that I will likely do with my second pick on this next, on these next 2 picks that I have. I'm probably going to swing for the fences just a little bit. And there's a few guys that we'll talk about when we get there. But let's get back to this recap. After Draymond Green at the 9-12, we had Alex Caruso of the OKC Thunder. Man, that's going to be a problem. At the 10-1, that's Caruso. 10-2, Bogdan Bogdanovic. And then at the 10-3, Jordan, tattoo on the neck, Clarkson. Then we have missed the concussion when Ant dunked on him. John Collins at the 10-4. That was a mean dunk. I don't think I've ever in all my years seen a guy get a concussion from getting dunked on. I'm just saying. Let me get a sip of this Bucky's cup. Hold on. So after John Collins, we have Rob Dillingham at the 10-5. And Rob Dillingham, I just got sniped for Rob Dillingham. So again, in a video where I'm teaching you on how not to get sniped, I'm getting sniped. And I know it's because I talk about him in my daggone show all the time. Jesus Christ. So let me see. Should I reunite the brothers? Let me do the brothers. That's like one of my plays. It's just like reuniting the brothers. So let me get Asar here. Boom. And then let's go for this one. Let's go Rissa Share. So I got sniped for Rob Dillingham. But this is the play, and this is again Bihamik. He's the guy. He's the guy who sniped me twice. This guy is one of the most active guys in our community, so he's learning. he knows, especially when he's going up against me. So I love it. So that's great. Here's the nugget that he did the thing that I'm telling you to do, which is reach a little bit for the person that you want in those later rounds that you're swinging for the fence for. And that is definitely rookies or second-year players that you have a good feeling about. Even players who are coming off of an injury can go in the same category. So for me, I like stability and consistency in those first 10 rounds. Then at the end, I'm swinging for the fences. And here's the ninja trick. This roster that you're building right now is not going to be the roster that you end the season with. So the bottom 2 or 3 roster spots, you'll probably be using those for streaming anyway, cycling players in and out. If you don't know what streaming is, we'll talk more about that in another episode. But for this last few picks, make sure you're swinging for the fences for guys that have upside, guys who are coming off of an injury and their value is low, guys who are in their second year and didn't get a lot of play, guys who are rookies. So the Rob Dillingham pick that he made is exactly what I'm talking about, and my Zachary Rissachar pick is the same kind of play. So after John Collins, we had Rob Dillingham, Tyus Jones at the 10-6, Buddy Hield at the 10-7, Keldon Johnson at the 10-8. I love that pick. Isaiah Hartenstein at the 10-9. Love that pick. Trey Murphy the third at the 10-10. Yes. Josh Hart at the 10-11. Asar Thompson at the 10-12. Zachary Rissachar at the 11-1. Naz Reid at the 11-2. Yes. Cameron Johnson at the 11-3. Donovan Clingan at 11-4. Bobby Portis 11-5. Malik Monk 11-6. Clint Capella, 11-7. For that late, I think that's value. Ooh, man, Bahamiki got me again for Reed Shepard. I was going for Reed Shepard, my guy. You're killing me. Stay out of my head. Stay out of my freaking head. Trace Jackson Davis, he's a good one, too. I would reach for him. I didn't have him in my queue, but definitely someone I would reach for at the 11-9. Kevin Herter at the 11-10. Derek Lively, another one. Reach for him a little bit. 11-11. Grayson Allen at the 11-12. Man, my man Bahamik is going off on me. He's slapping me all up. Shish kebabs. So, I still have one of my guys. Actually, no. That's not one of my guys. Let me come over here and do this so we can be official tissue with this. I'm just going to search a player really quick to make sure that they are around, and then I'm going to queue them up, and then I'll come back to the recap. So just bear with me a moment. Just want to make sure I get all of my ducks in a row. Nah, it looks like that dude is gone. Gone. Dang, yo, your boy's out here cooking with hot grease, yo. My community is on fire right now with these daggone mock drafts. They ain't playing no games. They said, Robin, I don't give a shit. Sue puppy, what you talking about? You are going all the way down. Going all the way down. They are trying to put me to sleep out in these streets. All right, so let's get back to the recap. After Grayson Allen, we had Dennis Schroeder at the 12-1, Alex Sarr at the 12-2. He's been doing bad, y'all. Zubac at the 12-3, Benedict Mathurin at the 12-4. Stephen Castle, loved that pick, at the 12-5. Jaden Ivey at the 12-6, and then we'll come back to it. Let me see what I got here. Really curious to see. I'm sorry. I really like this guy. Vasily Micic, oh, my gosh. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Melo, but one thing is for sure, that Vasily Micic made a name for himself. I'm hoping he gets more run this season, so that's another swing for the fence. Not as sexy as my Rob Dillingham play, but definitely worth it. How many picks I got left? This is my last pick. Let me see what we got here. Last pick, I'm going to have to just... I'll see how Keontae George does in his second year. And that's it. I want to give a shout out to my man Bahamik, who on the daggone episode about not getting sniped was out here looking like a straight up sniper out in these streets. I'm just saying. We're going to wait for the draft to complete so I can fully run through the roster. And also, I always do an honest review of my roster, so just know that I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I did such a great job, I'll give myself a 10 out of 10. No, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you a yes, no, and a maybe on each pick, and then we'll go from there. But at the end of the day, the most important takeaways is making sure that you set your cue, make sure that you're creating the narrative around the players that you want and don't want, and then last but not least, make sure in those later rounds that you're not afraid to reach. That is a huge nugget. And again, Bahamik executed like it was nobody's business. And I'm really proud of him. Not so happy for myself, but I did get to grab a few of the guys that I was looking at in the later rounds. Let's go back to the recap here. After Clint Capella, we had Reed Shepard, Trace Jackson Davis, Herter, Lively, Grayson Allen, Schroeder, Sarr, Zubac, Mathurin, Castle, Ivy, Miller, Vanderbilt, Westbrook, Buselis, Pajimski, Mishik, George, Hardaway, Edey, Brogdon, Jones, Pippen, Conley, Ronald Holland, Levert, Suggs, Ben Simmons, yikes, Mitchell Robinson. Okay, so let's do my team. Let's do it. Number 1, Victor Wembanyama. Yes. Second round, Chet Holmgren. Yes. Kyrie Irving. Yes. Franz Wagner. Yes. Julius Randle. I was going to say Joel Santana. Oh, boy. Julius Randle. Yes. Jalen Duren. Yes. Miles Bridges. Yes. Amin Thompson, maybe. That's an emotional play. Guys, I live in the Atlanta area. I'm a big Overtime Elite OTE fan. I take my kid to the games. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Onyeka Okongwu, another homer play, maybe. Asar Thompson, maybe. Zachary Rissachar, maybe. Vasily Micic, what are you thinking? Heck to the no. I am in on him, but out on him for this. And maybe off the waiver wire, I'll grab him. Keontae George, maybe. Overall, I think I had a solid draft. I would give myself probably 4 out of 5 GOAT rating. 4 out of 5 GOAT rating. So, there you have it. Where's my finger? Oh, my finger's right here? My finger's right here? Right here. Okay. There you have it. We're finished with our draft. Now what I want you to do is check out this playlist so you can see more of our mock drafts. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline.